Hi, I'm Charlie on the Out of This Binary channel, and yeah, this week is about romantic orientations and romantic relationships. So let's talk about me for a bit. I'm a panromantic, pretty much meaning I can be attracted romantically to all genders. I would have said so before, but I never got that intro video up, so yeah. Anyways, I'm panromantic, and I am engaged. So yeah, I've been in a relationship with a woman for a long time now, and we decided, you know what, we're gonna take it to the next level, and you know what, maybe even next year we'll be married, which would be awesome. So I guess let's get to relationships. Um, Pretty much, there's a lot of ways to go about it, and look at all the romantic orientations and your romantic relationships. Either of the orientations can go with any of the relationships. So, pretty much how it usually starts off, like, let's talk about the lower end ones. Usually there's hookups or little flings. Um, Sometimes they're called one night stands, things like that. And then there's dates where it's like, yo, let's go on a date and, you know, see where this goes. Sometimes it leads to a one night stand, sometimes it leads to another date, leading to another date, leading to another date until they're like, you know what, let's turn this into a relationship. Relationship is just two partners, they really like each other, starting to grow closer in most cases, and on most times it can, like, when it gets to the more committed, more serious relationships, there's things like, pretty much for me right now, like I've said before, there's being engaged, and that can lead to a few things. That can either lead to a marriage, which is simple, like, I don't know if many of you know the difference between a marriage and a wedding. A marriage is a certificate of you being married to someone else, and a wedding is pretty much a ceremony or a ritual taking place with a spiritual or religious leader making the blessing on the marriage, pretty much. And then there's other things. There's civil unions. I don't know a whole lot about the definition. And then there's also common law marriage, which is depending on the jurisdiction you're in. I live in Canada and in Alberta. I believe that after 6 months of living with your partner, you are considered common law married. I don't know if it has the same benefits as an actual legal marriage, but it's still called a common law marriage. So pretty much just out of the more committed ones, the ones that are more legally recognized, those are the ones. And then there's something where there's some people who simply do not believe in marriage or weddings for multiple reasons. Some people just simply feel like, you know what, I want to be with someone for the rest of my life, but I don't want, the government saying, yeah, you're married, or you don't want a church or a spiritual place to declare it either. You just want it to be between you and your partner or partners, if in the case of a polyamorous relationship. And yeah, that's just a life partnership where pretty much it does not have much legal standing. Um, Not that I know of, other than a common law marriage, because I mean, if you're going to be life partners, you're living together long enough, it's going to be a common law marriage either way. And yeah, so that's pretty much sums up most of the relationships. And also, there are polyamorous relationships. And from what I understand, if I'm wrong on this, call me out on it in the comments and I'll fix it up. But polyamory is a bit different than polygamy. Polygamy is typically where, let's say I was the polygamous person, I would have multiple wives or multiple husbands and wives and spouses, but I can have as many as I want, but those my spouses are only faithful to me. they don't have any other partners. They're just faithful to me, and I'm sticking to them. And then polyamory is pretty much I have my own partners, my multiple partners have their own partners, and those partners have other partners, and it's practically a network. Sometimes it can be just simply closed off, where it's like, we're only going to let this many people into this networked kind of relationship, and usually that's the best way. That way, communication about things like, oh, one of my partners has an STD or has other health concerns and stuff like that. Probably one of the things that if you're in a sexual relationship, in a polyamorous relationship, it's good to communicate those things, right? So anyways, that's another thing. With that, I believe in some places you can have multiple spouses, but in the most part, you would only be common law partners or domestic partners or something like that. In the lines of polyamory, I don't know what the Canadian or American laws are regarding that, so I'm just gonna stop it at there because I don't want to give off false information. And again, if what I said about my understanding of the differences between polygamy and polyamory, if they are wrong, call me out on it, because personally I am monogamous, so I haven't really done much. Well, I don't know firsthand from experience. I don't know what it's like, so yeah. Anyways, let's get back to romantic orientations. Like I said, I am panromantic, and pretty much that means I can be romantically attracted to any and all genders. And then there's other ones. There's demi-romantic. I'm not sure if that's a term, because usually if you're in a romantic, if you're romantically attracted to someone, chances are you know them pretty well, but sometimes not. Sometimes you're romantically attracted to someone you don't know too well, so that happens too, right? There's also biromantic, where you are romantically attracted to two genders. And then there is heteroromantic, which is the same thing as heterosexual, which is the majority of the public. And then there's homoromantic. And then there is aromantic. These are people who are not romantically attracted to anybody. And you know what? It's starting to, like, that concept of aromantic, like being aromantic or asexual, that's starting to be understood very well. I really don't know why it was such a difficult concept to understand, because I'm not romantically or sexually attracted to anyone. It should be pretty easy to understand, right? And it's extremely different from being a late bloomer. I was a late bloomer. I didn't have a girlfriend until 17, seriously. And it doesn't mean I'm aromantic, right? So that covers a lot of them. I guess one thing I would like to point out is that a lot of the time, people's romantic orientations don't necessarily need to match their sexual orientations. For example, someone might be bisexual but only romantically attracted to one of the genders they're sexually attracted to. For example, it's like, let's say I was bisexual, but I didn't find myself romantically attracted to men. That's like that is possible, and that's fine. And it's the same thing. You could be pansexual and aromantic, where you're sexually attracted to people but have no desire for romance. Again, these things don't need to match. So yeah, I think that's all I got to say about the whole topic. So I'll see you next week, and I believe it's about sexual orientations and sexual relationships. So I'll see you next week.